The Springboks have broken the streak. In well over 5 years of coaching at the professional level, in fact, in some of the toughest competitions in world rugby, that is the first time ever Jason Ryan as a forwards coach has conceded a rolling maul try. That match had everything though, so let's unpack all the key moments and ultimately what got the All Blacks the win. The All Blacks had one of the best starts to a test match I've ever seen. Their ruck speed, ball movement and running was world class. In the first 5 minutes, they had the Springboks run off their feet. Actually, in the first 20 minutes. I said in my preview at the start of the week, they'd have a game plan similar to the Wallabies, they just executed a hell of a lot better, which they did. They continued to turn the Springboks around at every opportunity, mixing it up with pinpoint kicking and some really world-class ball movement. The Springboks front row were found out quite a few times defensively. In fact, they were leaving gaps everywhere on the field. Now, I'd love to show you footage, but Sanzar will copyright me. If you go back and look at the first couple of tries, I'm pretty sure you'll find Kitchoff and Benambi just getting beaten for speed on the inside. Also, the Springboks' suffocating defence, which they're really well known for, struggled with the All Blacks' footwork, especially the likes of Shannon Frizzell and Will Jordan. The All Blacks' ruck speed managed to fatigue the Springboks and force Matthew Raynell to blow bog penalties. This is all still in the first 20 minutes. The box forwards were really sucking in the big ones, which saw the All Blacks actually get the upper hand at scrum time, which is really uncharacteristic stuff from the box. As I mentioned earlier in the week, a fast game would suit the All Blacks and a slow game would really suit the Springboks. What really kept the Springboks' defensive line accountable and their forwards under the pump is just the unorthodox play style the All Blacks threw at them. Keeping the ball alive, plenty of offloads, offload, cross kick, or how about Aaron Smith's bomb box kick 25 metres out from the try line? It was just genius play from the All Blacks. Credit to the Springboks though, they were able to halt the momentum of the All Blacks and there was a pretty clear correlation. The slower the game, the better the Springboks set piece became. Eventually the rest of the first half would just be damage control for the Springboks until they made it into the sheds. I'm not sure too many people would have noticed this, but one thing the Springboks did change in their play, particularly towards the end of the first half, was they stopped chop tackling and started holding the All Blacks up and really making them fight to get to the ground, which ultimately slowed down the All Blacks' ruck speed. After half time though, I think Jacques Nienaber made some really good substitutions. Straight away he brought on Malcolm Marx, Peter Steph Dutoy and Dwayne Vermeulen. This really did provide a momentum shift and the Springboks went in for back-to-back tries. Not only that, but the around-the-corner style of the Springboks really started to look a lot smoother when they came on. In the first half they struggled to get any width. In fact, they were so tired they struggled to get around the corner. Peter Steph Dutoy and Dwayne Vermeulen are the absolute locks for this in my opinion. Now I just have to mention, one of my favourite moments from the match, Matthew Raynell getting a calf cramp, presumably from all the blood rushing to his cock after seeing Cheslin Colby's huge swan dive in the corner. Seriously, should have been a long jumper. And I must admit when I'm wrong, I'll swallow my words with Christie. He had some really clutch moments off the bench for the All Blacks in the last 15 minutes, which really halted the Springboks' momentum. Also, credit to Ian Foster, he brought on Tamaiti Williams, Nipo Leilala and Samisoni Takiaho at the perfect time. Once they came on, that Springbok scrum that was starting to build momentum really got halted and never managed to get on top of the All Blacks from there. Super exciting game. Statistically, what stood out for me, the All Blacks kicked the ball and they kicked it really well, doubling the amount of kicks as the Springboks despite having more possession throughout the game. And 9 clean breaks for the All Blacks compared to South Africa's 3, and this was really just through probing those inside channels. And of course the All Blacks ruck speed. So bloody quick. I can't find any stats on it at the moment yet, but I can imagine it would have been head and shoulders better than the box. And a shout out to Shannon Frizzell, 1 try, 9 defenders beaten, 43 metres made in 14 carries and 2 clean breaks. Just an absolute monster in this game. Now the Wallabies versus Los Pumas. Absolute heartbreak. I'm going to try and do this one quick because my laptop's going to run out of charge. So much of the Wallabies' performance was a repeat of last weekend. I tried to begin the game, then they spent the rest of the time parked down their own end with hardly any possession. Now, a lot of Aussie commentators or pundits were really quick to call out Jaco Piper and pinning this on his refereeing, but the Wallabies got what they deserved. Their real discipline at the breakdown and pushing the passes constantly is why they lost. They absolutely got what they deserved. Playing a man down never helps, and that was definitely a yellow card. Same with the kickoff that didn't go 10 metres and it came off Argentina. You could argue all day that it should be the Wallabies' ball, but just kick it 10 metres and we wouldn't find ourselves in these situations. A good chunk of the game was the Wallabies just giving away penalties, piggybacking Los Pumas from their danger zone all the way down to the Wallabies' try line. Ikitau coming off injured was no doubt a big loss for the Wallabies, but Argentina's forwards in the first 50 minutes really fronted up on both sides of the ball. I love the short passing game from Argentina. They somehow squeezed themselves through the smallest of gaps on the field, and they really deserve the win tonight. Mark Nwanga was huge for the Wallabies, I thought, and so was their bench. They really provided front foot ball, which got them back into the game. Loved Angus Bell. I also thoroughly enjoyed Kemeni's first tackle in international rugby on Jaco Piper. Surely, though, that was a penalty for Jaco not rolling away. Wallabies had plenty of brain explosions, especially Tom Wright at the back, and a few moments that needed cool heads just to close out the game. Los Pumas' backline in general looks so much better with Delafonte back in and Cinti shifting to 13. And in terms of just hard work, you can't look past Pablo Matera tonight. 18 carries for 31 metres, but he was everywhere. Despite making over 100 more tackles, the Wallabies only missed one more tackle than Argentina. And although I think this was pretty obvious watching the game, Los Pumas managed to outscore the Wallabies in turnovers 8-2. The biggest killer for the Wallabies was their penalty count, leading the way in the Rugby Championship once again, 14-10. And also in yellow cards. Anyways, I'm off to bed. It's very late. Hopefully when you see this, it's sometime early in the morning and you get to recap all the best moments. Thanks for watching. Comment down below what you saw. And yeah, thanks.